Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about 7 ways to upgrade a girl's mind. All right. So, what are we talking about here when we talk about upgrading a girl's mind, and what's the point, and why do we do this? Right now, see, the thing is, upgrading a girl's mind is basically just teaching her certain things in order to, have her become the best version of herself, right? And so you're basically just giving her different perspectives, different things to learn. You're giving her some game. You understand? You're giving her some things to learn that will basically help her and also help you while you're dealing with her. You understand? Because if you're going to be dealing with a chick, especially if the chick's going to be your girlfriend or some long-term relationship type of girl, and sometimes even just girls that might be fuck buddies, you still want to make sure that you are upgrading this girl's mind. You understand what I'm saying? So they always have a saying, leave her better than you found her, something like that they would say, right? And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give you 7 ways that you can upgrade a girl's mind, right? So now these 7 ways, are in no order of importance. I'm gonna just go from 1 to 7, and I'm gonna tell you, the things you can do, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do when you're doing these things, right? All right, so let's just jump into this. So number one is this. Number one is use her mistakes as a teachable moment. So use her mistakes as a teachable moment. So what does that mean? That means that when you see that a girl is making a mistake, what you want to do is you want to point it out, while she's making it or after it's been made or whatever, and then talk to her about it and let her know why, she shouldn't make that mistake again. You understand? And so, you got to make it stick to the point where you're using sort of that example to teach her about what she should look out for and what she shouldn't do next time, right? So, for example, let's say if she was supposed to get a train or catch a train to go somewhere for like a job interview or something, or something important that she had to get to a certain place on time, and then next she ends up coming late, missing the train, and then she misses the job interview, right? And now she's all upset because she missed the job interview and all this other stuff. So now this is a teachable moment for you to point this out and have her learn from her mistake. You understand? Because don't think that just because that happened that she actually learned from the mistake, right? Because you have to drill into her how important it is to be on time, right? So that's the main thing that you're trying to teach her, right? But you're using that situation to, show her why it's important to be on time, right? So, when that happens, you be like, look, that sucks that you didn't make your thing, but, this is exactly why it's really important for you to be on time. So, the next time you have a situation or an appointment or anything else, right, make sure you try to leave your house, at least an hour and a half early so that you'll have enough time to get from point A to point B, right? So you are telling her these things, you're teaching her these things. Now, what you got to understand is this, that when you're upgrading a girl's mind, a lot of times it's not, a thing that's going to happen overnight. It's not even a thing sometimes that you just say one time, right? It's something that you're going to have to continue to do over time in a lot of cases and in a lot of situations. Because in order for it to stick, it has to be something that's continuous. So even though you tell this girl, hey, you're making this mistake, and you got to be early, and you got to make sure that you watch your time, she'll probably end up being late again for something that's super serious or whatever. And then what you do is you reiterate that same process of, hey, look, remember we talked about this. Look, you got to make sure that you're on time. You understand? Make sure that you give yourself enough time. Remember that other time when you missed the train too, when you're supposed to do that job interview, and now you miss this thing? You see what I'm saying? So if you continue to do these things and this and this and that, then you're going to end up not making shit happen, right? See, so the thing is, you might have to reiterate this more than once. But see, the thing is that you are basically upgrading her mind. And see, the reason why you do this too is because not only does it help her, but it also helps you. You understand? Because if this is a girl you're really trying to deal with, and let's say you're supposed to be doing something with her and she has to actually be on time to be somewhere with you, you want to make sure that it's in her head and that it becomes part of her to know how important it is to actually be on time. You see what I'm saying? Because then it's going to be directly affecting you if she isn't, being on time. You see what I mean? So this is why it's very important to upgrade the chicks' minds, right? Now, the second thing we're going to be talking about is leading by example. So leading by example or showing her by example. So what does that mean? So this means that what you want to do is you want to show her by you leading by example, meaning you doing something and her learning off of what you're doing, or you show her by someone else doing something and then you teach her through that other person doing something. So either you're showing her by you leading, by you doing the thing, or you show her by showing her an example of somebody else doing the thing or doing something, right? So, for example, let's say, you talk to this girl or whatever, or this girl you messing with, and she's like, damn, I just can't get along with my coworkers. They be acting all, this and that, blah, 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 right? So the thing is, you can tell her, hey, you should do A, B, and C, and D. But see, sometimes the thing is telling the girl doesn't really stick that much. Sometimes you're going to have to show her, right? So let's say, for example, you have let's say like a company picnic or some type of shit, right? And you bring her along with you, right? And the thing is, while she's with you, you talking to the people, you hanging out, you shaking hands, and you introducing her, you having a good time, you cooperating with the people. So what happens is that she's seeing you do this, right? And now she's learning from seeing you do this. You understand? Like, there's times where, like, even my wife, she said, she would have trouble, like, talking to people in public or in events because she would be too shy. And so sometimes I would take her out to places and then she would see me walk up to people, have conversations. And so she would learn based off of watching me do it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm upgrading her mind by being that example, by leading by example. You see what I mean? Now, the next thing you could do too is that, when we talk about this showing by example or leading by example, is her seeing something go on and you pointing it out by her watching someone else go through something. So, for example, let's say you're talking to your girl or whatever, or girl you're messing with, you're trying to explain to her, like, look, these dudes out here ain't trying to be your friends, right? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, guys like to be friends with girls. What are you talking about? Like, all guys don't just want sex, yada, 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 right? So she's not really hearing you because you're just talking about it, right? Next thing you know, one of her best friends, who's a girl, tells her, or she sees that there's some dude who's supposedly supposed to be her quote-unquote friend trying to push up on her. Or trying to do something, and then her girlfriend's like, yo, such and such, he was trying to get all up on me, and I'm told him we ain't like that, we just friends, yada, yada, yada. So her seeing that and experiencing that through what her friend, did is something that you can point out. So you're showing her through the example from her friend and her friend's quote-unquote male friend, where that male friend was trying to get at her friend. So now all the stuff you were saying is coming to light through the example of her friend and the guy friend. You see what I mean? So you point that out when you see that. You can even do this, let's say sometimes in, you might see examples in movies, and be like, look, this is, in this movie, this happened and that happened. Because even though it's a movie, it's still illustrating and demonstrating, real life situations. You see what I mean? So that you could also point that out. So that's number 2. Now, number 3 is, you can teach her how to do something. Teach her how to do something, right? So let's say, you have a business or something you're running or whatever, and you can teach her how to do something within that business because it's upgrading her mind and also it's helping you out. So let's say you got to mail out products to customers when they buy it, and you teach her how to package the products, what to put on the inside the packaging, how to package it up, how to mail it out to the people, all these different things. You're teaching her the skill of how to do something in this situation, which helps you out and which helps her out to upgrade her mind. It could also be something as simple as let's say the girl doesn't know how to drive and you know how to drive. You can teach her how to drive. You understand what I'm saying? So you're just basically teaching her how to do something that she probably doesn't know how to do. You see what I mean? And then so by doing that, you are also upgrading her mind, right? So that's number 3. Now, number 4 is you tell her when she's doing something wrong. You tell her when she's doing something wrong. So basically what that means is it's sort of like, for an example, you can basically, it's like you're checking her to a certain extent. Like sometimes a chick might do something and then you're saying to her, yo, that's not cool. Don't do that again. That was wrong that you did that because of this, this, and this. So for example, let's say, you took her to your company picnic, and let's say she was talking to someone and she had a little attitude. So you pull her to the side and be like, hey, listen, this is people I work with. This is not cool. You can't be, coming out here with an attitude because that's going to affect the business I'm doing with these people. So I'm going to need you to not do that again. I'm going to need you to be very cordial and nice to these people, right? So you're telling her that she's doing something wrong, and you're sort of checking her on this. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're teaching her how to interact in these situations and also why you're telling her to do this. You see what I mean? And also, too, what I want to say about like upgrading a chick's mind is that the way that it's going to work is that she also has to be willing to be coached. Do you understand? She has to be open to the upgrade because, unfortunately, some women aren't open to the upgrade. You see what I'm saying? And then so it doesn't really work as well because some of them don't want to listen, right? All right, so number 5 is show her a different perspective. Show her a different perspective, right? So this is basically when you are, let's say you're having a conversation with her and you're talking about a specific topic and she's telling you how she feels about the topic in a certain way. She's coming with one perspective. And you notice she's coming with one perspective, but there's another perspective that she hasn't said or it seems like she doesn't really know about. And so what you do is that you show her that different perspective because then it's going to teach her something or a different way to see certain things that she didn't really know about, right? So for example, let's say if you guys are talking about, you meet a girl or whatever, and, like a party, just having small talk or whatever, and, you talking about like business or something, and she's like, oh, I want to, I'm trying to start my own, blog because I want to, start getting advertisements on my blog to make some money, and I want to get traffic to my site and, all this other stuff. Now, let's say about internet stuff. You understand what I'm saying? You might know something about this. You might know something about being an entrepreneur. You might know something about making extra money on the side. You understand? So while she's talking about what she's talking about, you're having a conversation with her, but you bring a whole, another perspective. You could be like, hey, since you have a blog and, you write a lot about working out and workouts and stuff, you could actually probably make a workout video and then, sell it on your blog. You understand? And then you can turn that video into, some other book that's based off the video so that people can have certain workouts, they can read about it, whatever, right? So you're saying some stuff that she probably didn't even think about. And you're like, oh, she's like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't even think about that, right? So the thing is that you showing her that different perspective, right? It makes her see you like, whoa, this guy has some information, right? And the thing is, that right there is upgrading her mind because it's putting her in a headspace that she hasn't really thought of about before. You understand? So that's you showing her a different perspective, right? Now, number 6. Now this is one is a little bit interesting and a little bit tricky to do. So number 6 is to upgrade a woman's mind. You have to ignore her. Ignore her. You're probably like, what? Come on, what are you talking about? Ignore her, right? So what this means is that, and this works after you sort of established that you have done a few of these things to upgrade her mind. So let's say you've been you've been dating a girl for a little while. You sort of used her mistakes as a teachable moment. You showed her a different perspective. You've been sort of, showing her by example, leading by example. You've been teaching her how to do something. You've been telling her when she's doing something wrong. You've been doing, all these things, right? Let's say you've been seeing a girl for a few months or whatever. And let's say for some reason, she just starts acting funny or whatever, right? Then you stop calling her less. You stop seeing her as much as you were, right? And then what happens is that by you ignoring her, what happens is that she sort of misses that energy that you brought to her life. You understand? And because all this stuff you're doing is you're bringing energy, you're bringing a certain type of vibe to her that most other guys aren't. So when you take yourself out the picture for a little while, what happens is that she starts to either deal with all these other dudes over here, or she's all over the place over there. But what happens is that what you had, which is valuable, that value you've been showing, she's missing that value because all these other people don't got it like you. You see what I'm saying? Their game isn't as sharp as yours in most cases. You see what I mean? So the way that you're upgrading her mind is that it's showing her how to respect and appreciate a man of value, of high value. So when she hits you up, because she will hit you up, you understand what I'm saying? Once she realizes, damn, what's going on with this guy, whatever, I really like him and all. Once she hits you up, after you've been sort of ignoring her for a while, right? And you holler at her again and y'all talk again, she'll have much more appreciation for what's going on with you and her, right? And then let's say the reason why you were ignoring her was because she was acting funny or whatever, then you can go and teach, tell her what she's been doing wrong. You understand? So you're upgrading upon upgrading. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important that you understand that aspect of how powerful it could be to ignore the chick in order to make something happen, right? Now, the last thing I have on the list is to tell her no. Tell her no. And what I mean by tell her no is you got to make sure that you don't give off the impression that she can get anything she wants. That means anything like material or anything like with just you sort of doing stuff for her or, being there for her in a certain way to where you're bending over backwards for her. It's basically like you have to teach her that she can't just get anything she wants. So sometimes, she's going to ask you, hey, can we do this or can we do that? No, we can't do that today. We're not going to do that today. We're going to do this, so you're letting her know she just can't get away with anything. And this, it's on a subconscious level. You're letting her know this. It's not even like you have to even tell her, hey, I'm doing this so that you can't get anything you want. You're just telling her, no, we're not going to do that. Or, nah, this isn't going to happen. Or, no, I'm not going to buy you that. Or, you understand what I'm saying? So you have to make sure you tell her no so that she can understand that she can't get anything she wants. All right? All right, so listen, that's pretty much it. So those are the 7 things. Guys, if you have any questions, make sure you hit me up at askmrlocario@gmail.com. And make sure you guys go to badboymembership.com to join the Bad Boy membership, where you get 45 to 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.